It's me again. Ah. Trauma talking. And basketball and puppies and music too. All the good stuff. So, my last episode when we talked about healing from issues, whether that's PTSD, anxiety, childhood trauma, all that good stuff. I talked about changing the way we talk about ourselves. I discussed even changing some of the music themes that I listen to, and kind of taking everything that's negative and just turning it into a positive. I know you're thinking, like, Cassie, how do I do such a thing? Well, there's easy things, there's hard things, but you can start with the easy things, right? For example, funny one, I'm not going to stop listening to Slipknot, but now I wear happy-go-lucky Slipknot clothing. Just kidding. But seriously, it does help, right? So I could be wearing like a really weird-looking Slipknot shirt, weird to society's standards, not to me. But I'm choosing a rainbow butterfly Slipknot shirt, right? Happiness. Because if everybody decided to be happy, I think the world might be a better place. We talked about root cause analysis. So we're going to dive into a little bit of all of that. But I told you that I had a tip in a couple episodes back. When you observe yourself talking negatively, and how to stop yourself, and how once you start like trying to observe yourself doing it, you don't really realize, right, how often it happens. So an easy trick, get a rubber band, right? Any rubber band, doesn't matter, put it on your wrist. Every time you talk negative internally in your brain, you say something negative about yourself, you're not supporting yourself, you're not your own cheerleader, snap that freaking band as hard as you can. I guarantee you, your wrist and your forearm at some point throughout that day, those first couple days, and like, oh my gosh, damn, all you do is talk negative about yourself, to yourself, right? So it's amazing how our outlook on a lot of things actually change when we stop that behavior. So, that's kind of like a negative reinforcement, but really, you're thinking about pain, you're correlating pain to negative self-talk. Well, where there's a will, there's a way. Not that it's good to hurt yourself to teach yourself something. I wouldn't suggest doing it for the remainder of eternity, but to get yourself thinking about it. Just do an experiment, right? For a couple days. Wear it for one day, I don't care. Whatever you want to do. But wear it for at least a day just to observe, right? Get that data behind what's going on. Prove to yourself you actually do really talk more negative about yourself than you really think, or you say negative thoughts. So how do we switch that behavior? Well, for one, there's a tip you can try. You can also try journaling or jotting down kind of your thought process, like when you're making decisions, when there's something tough going on. Start jotting down that information, kind of like journaling. And if you start to see a theme or a pattern, that is an indicator of that's what you look at. Because eventually I'm going to keep talking to you about what does it feel like on the inside when you feel feelings. It's so hysterically ironic when you start realizing that when I say root cause analysis and everything's connected, everything compiles together with science and everything else. If emotions are energy, right, and that's what flows through us, negative or positive energy is pretty significant, right? We go around other people, when you can feel somebody's energy is off. When you meet someone instinctively, intuitively, if you're like, something strange about that individual, I'm going to keep my guard up. And then, of course, there's the positive. So thinking about positive, I'm going to tell you a tip with positive reinforcement that you could try. Of course, you can think of any on your own. But positive reinforcement, you can say, okay, every time I show myself gratitude, cut myself a little bit of a break mentally or talk positively, maybe I'll take a penny or a nickel or a dime, throw it in a jar. And maybe at the end of that, maybe if I just do it for a couple months, what is it going to hurt, right? Maybe that's what buys a new pair of shoes that I want. Maybe that's, maybe you have so much negative self-talk that you end up getting to go on a Florida vacation, sitting on a beach, all your treasures and your rewards because you observed yourself talking negatively. Again, not a long-term solution, just a method to analyze how often you're actually observing it. So, with the positivity side, you can also, it's amazing for me when I obviously came from, some childhood trauma. That's what this whole thing started from. And it's amazing how within meeting someone for a couple minutes, I can pretty well tell you if they had like a good upbringing, right? It's amazing. I met a guy, one of the sweetest, most amazing guys I've met, and when I'm around that person, my energy is very positive and kind of happy, just chilling. I'm just here to chill is how I kind of feel. But that's mainly because of the way they talk, the way they handle themselves. It's all very compassionate. It's very soft. It's very loving. Just in every single communication, everything this person does. And my first initial thought within 5 minutes was, holy shit, is that the kind of person you become? Like, if you naturally are just born into a good childhood? Because part of childhood trauma, whether you realize you had it or not, right? Because everything in the childhood experience affects us more than we ever realize. And that is mainly because those are the formative years, right? We're absorbing the most information. Children are learning how to navigate society and navigate people, right? What they learn as a child what they experience, what they learn, what they hear, what they see, that's going to be the habitual, consistent communication or action that they take in their own families or in their own life as an adult. It's also the same reason they may talk negatively to themselves, right? So, again, there's a significant difference having communications with anybody that definitely grew up with what society would consider a normal familyhood or a family environment, and then what we wouldn't. Because I say society because there is no standard. I think the more we continue to try and compare ourselves to other people, we're just digging our own grave further. Comparison is the thief of joy, right? So, for instance, why are we not more grateful for the small wins, the little daily wins? Because it's the little daily wins that will add up to huge monumental success, right? But we don't celebrate the negative. We always talk more about, we don't celebrate the positive, we always talk more about the negative. And that's an issue, right? We need to be our own cheerleaders. We need to bring up and observe ourselves doing great things. Why? If we keep getting that pat on the back from ourselves, we're going to continue to do the positive behavior, the positive action, right? It feels good. If we're proud of ourselves and it feels good to ourselves, we're going to continue doing it. So, maybe you were late to work today by 5 minutes. Instead of beating the shit out of yourself about it, because, it's just work, right? There's a lot more going on in life. We all need to work, but there's a lot more going on in life than to worry about the fact that you were 5 minutes late. But give yourself some grace, because were you 5 minutes late because you helped, your kid with a last minute homework thing that morning, or did you decide to hit the gym and work out an extra 30 minutes longer than you anticipated, and that's why you were running behind? Just look at the small wins, right? Give yourself credit for your own daily successes.